Good evening, my fellow Turks and Caicos Islanders and PNP supporters. This is your program, This What's Up 2.0. And in the studio this evening I have with me the undefeated champion of the Progressive National Party, Honorable Norman B. Saunders, hailing from South Caicos, who was the first Chief Minister representing the Progressive National Party and the third Chief Minister within the country of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Honorable Saunders has been one of the founding members of the Progressive National Party, so he knows from whence we came. And also I have with me Bishop Kalita Williams III, who is the party's chaplain and the chaplain for the House of Assembly of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Welcome to this program, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
I'll ask in order of Honorable Saunders to say a few words of greetings to the public and the listening public in the Turks and Caicos Islands, and then they'll be followed by Bishop Kalita Williams III.
Good night to all persons watching this program tonight. It is my pleasure to be here. I trust that whatever we have to say will be enlightening for all of you. And I pray that God will continue to be with you and bless you.
Thank you, Honorable Robinson. It's good to be here in your company and the company of our First Chief Minister, Honorable Norman Saunders, and it's good to be in the company and the homes of all of our viewers this evening. I trust that our time together will be fruitful, and the blessings of the Lord be upon all of you and upon this beautiful by nature Turks and Caicos that we call home.
Amen.
Yeah, Honorable Saunders, you know, as they say, as far as the Progressive National Party is concerned, you know from whence we came, you know what the struggle was, you know where we have made mistakes, you know where we have made stellar achievements in the progressing of the people of this country, because at the end of the day, no matter what happens in the country, if the people of the country are not benefiting, we still say that according to some, nothing is really happening. And the development of the country is always with the view in mind that the people of the country should develop. And some say that at times the country is moving forward, but the people are standing still. And that is something that we have to progress going forward to make sure that the people of the country are progressing in sync with the progress that the country is making. Almost as you came from what we used to call the big fishing village and of the Turks and Caicos Islands. Tell us something about your young days and what you were up to coming forward, and how did you get involved in politics?
Thank you very much, Honorable Robinson. I got involved with politics at a very young age. As some of you will know, I had been very active in South Caicos in almost every area, every part of the life of South Caicos. As a teenager, late teens, the Wesley Gill in South Caicos was the biggest youth movement in the whole Turks and Caicos Islands. And in those days, to be president or secretary of the Wesley Gill, there was an election. Mm-hmm. You could have 2 or 3 persons vying to be the president or the secretary. Immediately I joined just after I left high school. I became secretary of the Wesley Gill in South Caicos. And then I think 2 years later I became president. And those both positions, I became an outstanding young person. At that time I was about 18, 19 in the community. Just after that, I joined the Odd Fellas. And to be as a young man, and you were not an Odd fellow, you were something outcast in the community. It was expected of you to join the Odd Fellas. and I became a young member. In fact, I was about a week short of my 18th birthday. You had to be 18 to be a member. And I joined, I think I was about 7 or 8 days short of my 18th birthday. And the Oddfellows was big and popular in South Caicos, and you'll remember. Then it was the cricket. I immediately started to revive the Coburn Harbor Cricket Club. So within a short while, I had gotten engulfed in the whole life of South Caicos as president of the Wesley Guild, secretary in the Oddfellows, and captain of the cricket club. That put me at the forefront. When the 67 election came about, I had no intentions of running. And I met two gentlemen that maybe it's about 2 weeks or maybe 2 months before the election. And they called me and said, "Come here 1 minute, let me have a word with you." Say, "I think you should run in this election." And that to me was a big surprise, because I had no intentions of running in the 67 election. I figured one of those days I would be a candidate. And the person said, "No, man, we think you can. We think you can win." And about it, the next week, I ran into the same two persons, and they asked me again, "Have you made up your mind?" I said, "No, not yet." And then I said, "I'm working for Maguire. I have to have his permission to attend meetings in Grand Trunk if I win." They said, "Well, you want us to speak to him?" I said, No, you leave that to me. I'll take care of it when time is coming." So the following week, I think, at the end of the one afternoon, Just Maguire and I were alone in the office. And so I approached Maguire about what the suggestion had been made to me. And Maguire said, "Well, good, you man, that's good. I support that. No, man, go ahead, run." And once I got his blessing, I discussed it with Emily. She agreed. So I met them about it the next day, and I told them that, "Hey, I'm going to be a candidate." And within, I think, a day, that went around the community. And Johnny Wilson was the first. Johnny Wilson had a banner with somebody drew something, or made his own banner up with the boat. It had, because my nickname was Little Fish, all right, and everybody knew me as Little Fish. So he had his banner with the boat, and me standing up on the boat, and had "Little Fish will be the captain." And from that, the campaign started, and I won that 67 election hands down. And I was there straight through. That's how I got involved in politics.
Good. Bishop Carlito, you are the chaplain of the Progressive National Party, and as I say, the chaplain for the House of Assembly as well. You bring the spiritual calm to our party's proceedings, and you also bring that calm within the House of Assembly. Tell us a little bit about your personal background as well, and how you got involved in the struggle, so to speak.
I'm from North Caicos. And went to the Raymond Gardner High School. Well, the Bottle Creek Primary School, now the Adelaide Omna Primary School. And fortunately for me, we were the same year that I was going to high school, the North Caicos Junior High became a full-fledged high school. Yeah. And so I didn't have to cross the water to go to South or to Grand Turk for high school. But as we were talking before the show began, my parents were always involved in politics. I was saying to Chief Minister a few minutes ago, when they would come to North for rallies, it was an amazing time. So wherever my mother went, I had to go with her. And so I was thrust into the mix of things, but I have always had a keen eye for politics. In high school, when we would have our debate, they would call me Bob Francis.
Yeah.
so I was solid as a rock. But I always had a keen eye for politics, and were asked numerous times to come on front line, but that didn't happen. I went the other direction, and went to Bible school and to Barbados College and to become a minister of the gospel. But it is so important for us to understand how both goes hand in hand. P for politician, P for pastor, and then we see the priests and the back in those days we call him the prophet. We see the prophet and the king walking hand in hand, and so I've been privileged to be able to walk with this party in that role as chaplain. To be able to give spiritual guidance and insight, and to be able to, like you say, bring the calm to the room, and as a result, to be able to serve as the chaplain of the House of Assembly, which is a great privilege, to be able to bring that peace. The scripture says, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord."
Yes.
And it's a thing that I think has always kept us grounded, our faith and belief in God. We pride ourselves of being a Christian country, and I think that has been the thing that has grounded us and has been the source of our success and our blessings.
One thing I would like to say, because it comes across my mind all the time, and I know this is something that most Turks and Caicos Islanders don't know. When I got elected in '67, the Executive Council was made up of appointees by the governor, but at that time, 2 members of the House could be elected to be members of the Executive Council. The Executive Council was the higher body in the country. In those days, you didn't be honorable if you were in the House. You only got honorable if you were on the Executive Council, right? When I got there, the 2 leading members in the House of Assembly was Bud Baisden and Dings Francis. So when I got there, a fellow walked in. I'll never forget him. Just as I walked in, because I was a little bit late that morning, a fellow walked in, pulled me one side, said, "Come here." So we suppose we like 2 members from the House to go to the Executive Council. Said, "I'm going to propose you as one." All right? They say, "All you have to make," I say, "all of us are going to vote for you." Say, "You have to get McGuire to join us to make sure that." And we all vote for Dings because they wanted Dings there too. So I got McGuire, and I immediately became a member of the Executive Council. All right. I want to talk about I made my friendship with John Wainwright because he was the then administrator. And so to get things done, I used to go early and meet with the administrator, John Wainwright, talk to him and persuade him that I needed tank in South Caicos or I needed this road in South Caicos. I had to get him agree because without that, you couldn't make it. Yeah. So that sticks out in my mind all the time. Yeah. Fellow walk in, put me one side. Come here, boy.
You see the thing of it in life, Honorable Saunders and Bishop Kulita, sometimes we don't understand where we are in this race called life.
That's right.
Someone sees that beacon of light and hope, and all that is necessary is to fan the flames of that, and somebody has to mentor you, somebody has to coach you, and that is what's happened in life. And my thing has always been, if you see someone who has the potential or want to move forward in life, try to assist him along the way so that he could be an upstanding citizen in this country. And sometimes I feel bad sometimes when I see young men going astray. Because at the end of the day, you look at it, every time you hear people say, the youth are the future of this country. And if they are not doing well, then eventually the country wouldn't do well.
Future the country is
at stake, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so it's important that we get these things right as much as possible. And I think that from where I have stood over the years, you would see in this country the greater moves for upward mobility, the greater moves for development of the country, the greater moves for development of the whole person, the whole man or the young woman, has come through policies and programs that the Progressive National Party has put forward. And Saunders would know that one of the things that he was instrumental in doing in this country was having the tourist board and that part of what we call moving forward to the development of this country, because tourism, it's through tourism that we've gained fame and fortune in this country and in the region. So Honorable Saunders, tell us a little bit about your work and getting that off the ground and seeing it to become successful.
Well, Royal, yeah, as you just said, the country around 72 had no real direction as to where it was going to go in order to create economic activity, employment for our people, revenue for the government. And one of our meetings, I think, was around 72. The Legislative Assembly decided that they were going to send also John Wainwright was the then Assistant Administrator for Development. And then the House of Assembly selected me to go with him to travel. We went to the Bahamas, Cayman Islands, Antigua, British Virgin Islands, and Barbados to examine their tourism industry and see whether or not tourism was the best thing for us. We traveled to all of those countries. We came back and we wrote a report that tourism was the answer and was the future for this country. The House of Assembly accepted it. Then they decided we had to set up a tourist board. And so the tourist board was set up. I was made the first chairman of the tourist board. And I served from 72 till 76, and McGuire replaced me. And then I took back again in 1980, when we won the election. So, and all the policies and stuff put forward to bring tourism to this country and channeling the direction of the tourism industry was my brainchild. Because I was, as I told some students in South Caicos not too long ago, I've attended a whole lot of seminars throughout the Caribbean on tourism. And everything I heard didn't sound right. But everybody was criticizing cruise ships and this and the other. It was bad for social life and everything else. And then one day, I had a lawyer friend in West Palm Beach, George Moore. And there was a expo or something in West Palm Beach that I didn't even know about. But he told me there was going to be an expo there. I should come up, bring whatever literature we had at the time. We had no brochures or nothing. But I picked up some magazines, some old books with pictures of the Turks and Caicos, and I took it with me. And I got to West Palm Beach that Friday night. The expo was going to be on Saturday. We didn't even have a booth, wasn't able to pay for no booth. But I think I stood along the I don't know, it wasn't a Mexican booth, I think it was Argentino. I just stood alongside, put a Union Jack up, and the people were coming by. When they see the Union Jack, oh yeah, who are you? I'm from the Turks and Caicos. And I started telling about the Turks and Caicos, and that went pretty good. Right. It was after that we hired a company in Orlando to make the brochures for us. But what gave me what I wanted for the future tourism of Turks and Caicos Islands was on that Sunday, George Moore took me down to Palm Beach. We all the multimillionaires, the Kennedys, and them, everybody have a house, big house up on the top of the beach. Beautiful beach, and the big marina with multi-million-dollar yachts there, and the airport full of jets. And these people fly down, these big business people, they fly down from North America, from farther north, come down to West Palm Beach. They're big jets on the airport, the big houses above there, and the big yachts at the beach. They secure their friends and their relatives or other business partners out on the yacht for a couple hours and spend the day. I said, this is what Tux Island wants.
Right.
Because they got a crew, standing crew, and on the yacht all day. They got a house, they got a plane, and everything. This is what we want, upmarket tourism. And all the expos I went to, I was preaching that. And that is, I'm satisfied today, that is what Provo and Turks and Caicos is
Wow.
benefiting from.
Wow.
High quality tourism.
Yeah.
Because I thought, they tell me, you get cheap tourists, they can't buy a hamburger.
Right.
They complaining all the time. That is not what you want.
Right.
Rich people can afford big houses, luxury hotels, decent yachts, big yachts, and they'll pay the bill. If a $200 bill, $500 dish, they'll pay for it, no grumbles.
High end.
All got to be good.
Yeah.
High end.
High end.
And that's one thing I'm proud of. That was my brainchild came from that.
Yeah.
And I'm satisfied. That is where Turks and Caicos Island is today. Now, as I walk sometimes around by IGA, I see some tourists. I'm not quite sure because they complain about everything. Yeah, all right. But we have done that. So I was the first chairman of the tourist board. I was there for the first 4 years, 72 to 76, and then another 4 years.
You know, it is it's important for us to understand our history, because
Yes.
our history will allow us to piggyback on it and then project into the future, right? And a couple of times I've heard some people complain, say, "Oh, the prices are too high." I said, but this is what we have always said that we want to be.
Yes.
An upmarket destination.
High-end,
Okay, high-end destination, right? And all the things that have been put in place have allowed us to maintain that.
Yes.
Because if you look around us and if you, all these shows and the shows, I mean, for tourism and all these things that happen for us, you'll see that we are top market all the time. We're in the 1 and 2 of any of the categories that showcase tourism around the world.
Yes.
And it's, I talk to, we cannot, with our small size itself, compete with places like Cuba, the Dominican Republic, for the low end of tourism.
Mass tourism is not for us.
It can't work. So we have created a niche for ourselves. And I think that we should continue to maintain that
standard. Keep that standard.
Because it has to. And if you look around us, you'll see that is being done. Nowadays, in the last 4, 5, 6 years, you've seen a lot of buildings going up. And we're moving into, you got a set of Airbnbs, you have the villa development within the Turks and Caicos Islands, particularly here in Provo. And these people spend $5, $6, $20,000 per night.
Yes.
Per night, right? So
that's
this is the type of money that's around.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that for us now is for the average, what some people say, the Joe Blow Turks and Caicos Island, the fellow at the very low end of the spectrum, to be able to tie into that and be able to reap some of the benefits from that.
Yeah.
So he or she could progress their family, live in a nice house too. They might not be able to live in $1 million house, but at least a decent, comfortable house that you can pay for the power for the air conditioning. You might be able to aspire to a small swimming pool, and you'll be able to educate your children so they can come back
Yes.
and help to grow the country as well. Because without the people moving in sync with the actual development of the country, and we've had this dichotomy over the years. What are you creating development for?
you.
Okay, and at the end of the day, each of the political directorate on either side of the political fence have been saying that we're supposed to be creating it for ourselves,
yes.
right? Now, depending on which side of the fence you're on, everybody has a different view as to how that should progress.
Yes.
Some say slow and steady, like the tortoise. Some say give it a little bit more juice, and it's like the hare. Yeah. So, but it has to be a balance, a balancing act. And I think Bishop Khalida, that's part of the calming effect of the spiritual part of things that bring us back down to reality. Mm-hmm. You know, and we have to. But at the end of the day, we have to move forward. You have a church, you have a congregation, and I'm certain that you look forward every Sunday for them to come there and be a part and take part actively and effectively in whatever programs that is. And the church, what do I say? The church is one foundation. There's a son.
Church is one foundation.
Jesus Christ, our Lord. We have come a long way. Back in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, our people were leaving these shores.
Yeah, going to the Bahamas.
Going to the Bahamas. My father was a captain.
In the 60s, every month, boat going to Freeport, Nassau, loaded.
And I was just talking to someone this weekend. My father. Stories about how you put them down in the bottom and put all the luggage and stuff on top of them, hiding them. Yeah. We see that happening now. It's reversed now. But there was a time when that was our life.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Talk about the spiritual part of it. Of this, our forefathers prayed.
Yes.
For things to turn around for this country, because it was tough.
Yes.
And they prayed that their children and grandchildren would have a better life, right? And that they would not have to leave this country, right, for better. God heard that prayer and turned things around. The UN status report came out talking about tourism and so forth, and again, Turks and Caicos is number one in the Americas.
Yes.
Okay, and so we've come a long way, right? This country's doing exceptionally well, but we have to now find the balancing act.
Well, let me join here.
Yeah.
Development is my is a thing that I'm into, right? And development has to be controlled.
Right.
Believe it or not, it has to be controlled. You got to have the government. You got to have your hand on the tiller.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You got to have your hand on it. I did a lot of time. My early politics. I did a lot of study in the politics of Bermuda, Cayman Islands, Bahamas, and Nanos. You have to control development.
Mm-hmm.
Control development, in my mind, is we've gone overboard.
Mm-hmm.
We're taking too much, and we're losing a lot of our identity. Mm-hmm. Our people are complaining they're not engaged in the development as much as they would like to. Mm-hmm. So the government has to control the development of ways to open spots for Turks and Caicos Islanders to get in there and reap the benefits of this country.
Because if you're not doing it for them, who are you doing it for? Who are you doing it for?
That is our main should be a main objective right now.
Every hotel now in this country is full to capacity.
Yes.
While we are full to capacity, Dominican Republic next door have 30% occupancy.
Yeah.
Right? And but we have to find a way to make sure that it trickles
Trickle down, yes.
to our people. Because, okay, let's look at it. We have foreign investors. They come, they build a hotel. Okay, we can't afford to build a hotel. They have a hotel,
five-star hotel.
But they have the hotel.
Yes.
And then now they have their own boats to do tours
Yes.
on the water.
Yep.
They have their own vehicles to move around their guests, and so you gotta find a way to make sure that we are partners in
that. We got to reap the benefits of that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so it is. So where it is, we have to commend our government for the tremendous job they're doing in attracting investors and so forth. At the end of the day, our people have to be at the center of all of it. At the end of the day, that everybody benefits. You can't walk away with the whole kittle and caboodle.
Bishop, we don't want to be the employees all our life. No, we want to be the employers too.
Exactly.
So
and it can happen. We have this thing called. When we talk to politicians, they talk about leveling the playing field. You can't level the playing field because you're an investor coming in with millions and billions of dollars.
Yes.
I have nothing. Right? All I have is that my navel stringberry here. Right? So the playing field is not level.
You got to make it level.
You got to stage it, right? Because the guy coming in, he's already coming in with all this money, so he's already head and shoulder above you. So we are now challenged with this thing because fellas, government have to, you got to be. You got to practice good governance and all of this stuff, but you got to find a way
to bring us
to bring policies that you protect your people at the end of the day.
Nobody's going to complain,
and nobody should be able to complain about that at the end.
I was talking again, Mike, because I was in England many years ago, and we were talking about this because there they talk about equal for equal. I said, no, man, I can't be equal. If you got millions and I got nothing, we can't be equal.
Exactly.
But one point I want to make, because it was upmarket tourism thing. There was a gentleman, and there are two of them I know because I met them. I met them at the South Caicos airport. They have over $1 million home or condo in Provo. All right, and they're buying $1 million home in South Caicos.
Right.
All right. And one of those guys has offered out of his own pocket to put water in every house in South Caicos out of his own pocket.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about, upmarket. That's the benefits you get from them kind of people being in your community.
Right.
All right. They go to church. They write a check for $5,000, $10,000. I heard one tourist did that one day at one of the churches here in Provo. All right. Them the kind of people that can help you, and they eat hamburgers and sing them. They can eat steak. Their plate of dinners, $500 or something a night.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of people we want.
Yeah.
When you start bringing in tourists, they want a sandwich for dinner, and they can complain about everything. Let them stay home.
Honorable Robinson, I think back in the day, we had something called the reserve categories.
Yes.
Right? Where only locals can get in those certain areas.
That's a good policy.
I think that's one of the best policies that we could have ever had. Things that's happened. I think somewhere along the line we have moved away. It has been, if it was not moved, it's been watered down. But we no longer have those reserve category. No. We no longer have that protection.
We got to go back
for our people, and I think we have to find a way to get back to there.
Yes.
That this is reserved.
Sorry, you can't get me up.
I think it's in America. the Native Indians, the indigenous people. They are stuff that are reserved
For them.
For them.
Yes, that's true.
They're protected, you know. And I think some way, somehow, we as a government have to find a way. Of course, you're gonna have people that complain and grumble and whatever, but because we are so small, we must do something to protect our people, right? There is no reason why, Honorable Saunders, that with the small population that we have, that all of us can be doing well.
Yeah, that's true.
Because once we are well and taken care of, there's so much left over at the end of the day, because we are so small.
So few in number.
So few in number.
Yeah.
But it is like, you know, everybody else is getting, and because that group is so big, there's no left over for us, you know.
You know, and the thing of it is, and over time, we had a little bit more control. Even though we didn't have much, we had better control. And what has, over time, has been allowed to happen, we allowed people to bamboozle us into this situation where, oh man, we got to have equal rights for these people, have equal rights for these people. But then every time they get better rights in our country, they're moving further ahead, faster than we are.
That's right.
Mind you, too, though, some of us, and some are too laid back and expect everything to be given to us. My thing has always been, watch what happened to the children of Israel when they were in the wilderness. Right? Every morning, you got to get up and collect that manna. If you don't collect it, it disappears. If you collect it and try to store it, it goes away.
Spoils.
Okay, so you have to put skin in the game. There has to be some sort of a sweat equity for you, the individual Turks and Caicos Island, as well. And I think more programs of mentorship, more programs to encourage people to get involved in things from the bottom up, because I grew up for a number of years in Kew, right? And when I was growing up, farming was still part of the life of North Caicos and Kew. We used to call Kew Egypt. Because everybody from everywhere else in the country would come down and Kew at harvest time to help to reap the corn and what out and everything else. And when the owner of that plantation has done that, then what they call a level, what we used to call the knob and corn, that's for the persons who work, so that they can have something for themselves. So we moved away from that. And one of the things that happened too is that because of the drudgery of the work at that time, the salt industry in Grand Turk, South Caicos, and Salt Key, and the agriculture in North and Middle Caicos, parents start telling their children, say, now listen, you are not going to be down like that. They try to get you to school, to try to educate yourself and move away from that. But if you see what's happening nowadays, we're coming back into the agricultural activity in this country and elsewhere. Because as I say, I came from that side of town, from the agricultural side of town. And for me, I am back into agriculture, but in a different way, right? Because it has to be sustainable. You have to be able to produce on a regular basis, so that people like IGA, Sunny Foods, can depend on you every week, Because it can't be hit and miss, So you have to create the situation where that is done. And I think that the government in the last couple of years have been trying to encourage Turks and Caicos Islands to get involved in agriculture. They've been given people who became interested the small grounds. CSME grants that are being provided by Invest TCI, as well as from the Agricultural Department. So it's a starter. And I tell people this: the government cannot give you all that you need to get involved in agriculture, because getting into agriculture is an expensive venture. It ain't easy. It's expensive. But they're saying if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Okay. But you have to make it happen. You have to make it happen. And one of the things that gets me sometimes is that some of the red tape the bureaucratic red tape that's involved in the process.
Exactly.
It should not be there for us who trying to make headway in these things. Not to say that you should dispense with certain things that are necessary, because you have to protect the people who get the food, because you have to make sure that it's up to standard. Because if the food is not up to standard, it will poison your body.
Yeah.
And instead of being able to maintain a sense of forwardness and the like, you become sick and a burden to the system. So you have to avoid that. So things have to be, but it can't be so draconian that there's a drag on your ability to progress. Like for instance, the other day I was trying to get field workers from the Dominican Republic to be able to be part of my program, right? And it practically took 2 years to get free work permit.
Wow.
Right? Now, mind you, part of the problem was not of my own making, but someone who was supposed to be doing some work for and on my behalf. But still, and then I lose your stuff. Right? Then you got to go find it and find the information again, and it costs you. Right? Because my thing is this: when you bring your information into the one-stop shop or wherever, there's a number box that you have to tick off, right? You have to have your name, your copy of your birth certificate if necessary, copy of your passport, pictures, police record, and the like, right? Now, how those boxes are ticked off. I go back as a follow-up and say, how far is my stuff is? And, you could process it, but we don't see the picture. Now, come on, Mr. So-and-so or Miss So-and-so. You ticked off the box. Picture is there. It's your negligence. Now it's going to cost me, I got to go find somebody to get two pictures. And stuff again.
And the delay.
And the delay and stuff. So one thing is that the process has to be transparent. The process has to be user-friendly in order for us to participate in these things. And even though it's expensive, I say, to get in initially, but at the end of the day, if you have a good product, people will buy it. Because everywhere you hear them say, getting local stuff.
Yeah, but see, let me say this. First and foremost, we have to commend the government for the initiative that in implementing the program for farmers, initiative of trying to feed.
That's very important.
Very important. But then again, we're saying we can't just bring these policy and stop there.
Yeah, no.
You have to make sure that you follow all the way through. If this is the initiative, this is what you want to do, to be able to feed your people. 10%, 20% of
That's a big benefit.
It's a big benefit, but you gotta now put all the mechanism in place to make that happen. Because you talking a lot of money now. So the message have to be sent straight through. This is what we're trying to achieve, and so this group of people, and sometimes, we talk about democracy. Our friend, you say, sometimes you need guided democracy, right? You have these, you select these 10, 20, or 30 persons who are interested in making this happen, farming, right? Because not only they want to do it for themselves, this is a goal of the country.
Yes.
Okay. And so now you make sure all the tools are available. So you need 20 workers and so forth. So everybody knows that. So you don't get red tape, you get red carpet,
Yes,
right? And it's given. Nobody in immigration said, "What Mr. Robinson want these 20 people
should
for?"
have no obstacles on
No
that.
obstacles,
Yeah, no
absolutely no obstacle. And so now you got these 20 farmers. You got somebody responsible just for corn.
Yeah.
Somebody just responsible
Tomatoes.
for tomatoes. Somebody responsible for okra. And at the end of the day, you have about 10 or 15 product that is coming to the market.
Yeah, from there.
Local.
Yeah.
When we were growing up, and back then we were more healthy. We lived longer because we were
and potatoes coming from the island.
we were eating organic. Absolutely. Now you can't afford organic.
But let me say one thing to support this. When Mike was foreseeing, I was on a committee. I think Mike was heading that same direction. I was on a committee, and he had a specialist out of Jamaica. And I remember attending one of those meetings, and the man had the figures and pointed out that if you could just save the freight alone, what people, the freight, bringing those produce in, tomatoes and oranges and apples and whatever it is, corn and stuff, the freight on that alone was in the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right.
And you could just save that, produce enough to save that, your economy will benefit tremendously.
Exactly. And we're talking about a high-end destination.
Yes.
Can you imagine if you bring food into the mix to that now?
From here.
From here, that your
tomatoes.
your guests know that all of their food product is produced here. It's organic, homegrown.
Homegrown.
Yeah.
Soil,
Yeah.
not
So it has all these bits and pieces have to come together to make it a viable proposition for all of us. Right?
Yes.
And the government has to drive it as much as possible, and show people the benefit of that. And if you look at it, sometimes it takes somebody has to be the guinea pig in the process, right? Make no mistake about it. But in the process, the person who is being labeled as a guinea pig shouldn't have too many obstacles in his or her way,
to make a success,
right? To make a success of it. And once you start doing that, other people will see the benefit.
Yes.
And then be able to
follow
up on it, right?
Yes.
So I think Saunders and Bishop Kalita, we as Turks and Caicos Islanders, the current government is doing quite a bit of programming to assist us. We as Turks and Caicos Islanders have to not go sleep and hope that it happens.
Get fully engaged.
We have to make it happen, right? You can't expect the corn to grow if you don't put it in the ground.
In the ground.
You can't expect the corn to grow if you don't water it. You can't expect the corn to grow if you don't weed the bushes and the grass from around it. You can't expect the corn to be reaped if you don't have somebody to go and reap it.
Yeah, exactly.
When it's reaping time.
You got to go and broke the dust.
Toss it off it, you know what I mean? So these are part and parcel of the process, and we have to be committed to these things, right? And you look around you, and as we have said, this is a high-end destination. We have to maintain that, number one. Number two, with all the individual investment that's coming into Turks and Caicos Islands, we have to benefit from that as well. The government, through its programs and policies, have to put in place some things that will tilt the field in our direction.
Yes.
I saw some
incentives.
Yeah,
Incentives.
because years ago the incentive was to give the person who we call investors,
right,
all of the benefits.
Right.
Duty free this, concession here.
Right.
I have said mostly, but 20 plus years ago, that Providenciales didn't need any more concessions.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
The
Correct.
concessions should go to places like North and Middle Caicos and South.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Grand Turk
Turk.
to a lesser extent. So, because we have and we have to meet the people where they are. Everybody, and this has been the problem that we've had over time. When I was growing up, everybody moved to Grand Turk because everything was happening in Grand Turk. And then, as life will have it, we start to move to Provo in the 80s and 90s. But still, there's life in North Caicos, there's life in Middle Caicos.
Right.
And in order for us to generate a greater life expectancy and a greater activity, we have to put something in it. There used to be a program some years ago called, we say you have to put an anchor project in each one of the islands to act as a catalyst and a nucleus for that type of thing.
Exactly.
We have to go back to the drawing board because those are things that have happened. Those are things that are still viable.
Yes.
We have to determine what type of anchor project being put in now.
The development attracts development.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
You know, there used to be a saying, if they build it, they will come.
They will come.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So someone has to be on the forefront. And it's easier nowadays for Turks and Caicos Islanders to be able to do that. Because before, oh man, I can't invest my money in Turks and Caicos Island. It was too much risk. The risk has been practically totally mitigated. Okay,
yeah.
So you don't have that. And if you listen to people, and if you have a walk through Providenciales sometimes, you'll hear the amount of money that's in TCI, right? And some of it should come down to us as Turks and Caicos Islanders.
In your pocket.
Yes, we should feel it. We should not only be talking about, because if you look at the government's revenue over the last few years, the revenue streams have practically been the same, but the amount of coming in from each of those entities has gone
double, triple.
You understand?
Yeah.
So there's money in TCI.
Yes.
Money is no problem.
No.
It used to be they say one time that Manley went to Trinidad and was asking the prime, when Jamaica was in a bad way. So the prime minister had a hearing. Williams,
Eric Williams.
So before Manley had time to speak, he pulled the plug out of his ear.
Yeah.
Say, my son, money is no problem.
Right.
The problem is no money.
To your point in the spiritual part of it, you talk about the children of Israel. God told Joshua, I've given you the promised land. And this certainly is the promised land. We are in the promised land, land flowing with milk and honey. But he told Joshua, likewise, you have to possess it.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You have to take it.
Yeah.
Okay? The first time they didn't take it, they went in, spy out the land under Moses,
And they were afraid.
and they were afraid. There's giants in the land.
Yeah.
So the land is good, it is prosperous, it is rich.
Everything.
They brought it back, the evidence of it.
Yeah.
And they spent all this time surveying the land, checking it out. And the giants never bothered them, but yet still they say we can't take it because there's giants in the land. And they stayed in the wilderness for 40 years.
Yeah.
Before they had an opportunity to go back again.
Yeah.
And Joshua and Caleb says, we going in.
We going in.
You know,
We invite 'em.
and we go, and it, you know, it's strange enough. All the old generation at that time had died out. Mm-hmm. The only two of the old generation was Caleb and Joshua, and they were 80 years old, right? And they, but everybody else were young.
They died out.
They were born in the
doubtful
wilderness.
fellow.
Yeah, he says, we're going to take this. We're going in, and we're going to take this. And so what I want to say is that even though the land is ours, it's been given to us, we have to rise up and we have to go and take it. But we need where we commend the government for what they're doing. There's still some more that needs to be done as far as accessibility, right? And cutting out the red tape so it can become a reality.
The right
for people
policies have to be made so that the people are comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, once they understand the reason, you don't want to take it back from. I think the Bahamas did that one time. Couldn't take all the land. Like you own nothing.
Right.
And then they quit. And it took them years to regain the confidence and come back.
Right.
That you can't do. You can't encourage somebody to spend millions until I can take it or not enable you to make your money back.
Right.
But the right policies are there, just do it right. But everybody can understand. I remember years ago, man, when I was on the immigration board. And some people from Bermuda, some white Bermudans was coming in. Same people who built up Square Butterfield Garden. And I was on the immigration board.
DCM capers up to that.
Yeah, and I was telling them we got to protect the jobs for toxin cases. They said, well, I bring all my investments in this. I said, look, we have to look after ourselves.
Right.
You could come do your investment, but the jobs got to belong to us. You can't bring your employees too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we can treat you right, but treat us right.
Right.
You got to make them understand. There got to be equity in it.
It got to be fair.
Yeah, it got to be fair. Yes.
But you know, I know time is slipping away from us. But one of the things that we really seriously need to be considering on our way forward, as much as we're grateful and thankful. The brainchild of Honorable Saunders, tourism and what it has done and what it is doing. We have to not lose the vision of diversifying this economy.
We have to.
Because as good as tourism is now, it is so fickle. Very fickle. And anything can happen at any time. Well, we just saw it, with COVID and all these other stuff. We are in the hurricane belt, and anything can happen to it. One
big hurricane
and wipes everything.
You'll be out for a year.
And so, even though we are small, we still have so much. It bothers me every time I go to the capital and I see them, making effort to close up these soil ponds, and I'm saying, you have a gold. This is a gold mine. The scripture says, as long as the earth remains,
seed time and harvest.
As long as the earth remains, there's gonna be need for soil.
Soil is very important, and soil can be made, but the areas we have are too small. To make soil worthwhile, you need whole thing. I had some people walking for a long time with soil. South Caicos pawns would do nothing, not even a drop in the bucket. The guy was thinking about bail sand and all the other, but it kill tourism.
Yeah.
You can't kill tourism for the salt. Salt is very important.
Yeah.
If you had areas, but we need a backup to tourism, right? I was a couple of years ago on a CPA conference. I was with one of the ministers from Jersey, and Jersey is the leading offshore or financial center in the whole world, all right, next to Switzerland, all right. And he was telling me when they had what something it was that the whole tourism industry went down, the economies went down, hotel, no tourism after the people went and tower to tower.
Yeah.
Oh,
9/11.
After that, tourism almost went dead. All right, almost went dead. He said the thing that kept them offshore industry. Offshore industry brought in all their money to keep their government afloat, and other countries was dying out. Right? So we need another industry. And I believe we can find a way of making the financial services industry a lot more profitable for this country. All right, it's easy. And the people are here, all the money in the banks belong to them people.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
We got to find a way of fixing our laws and stuff. Not that the European Union and those control everything we do, but there has to be a way where we can direct the financial services industry in a way we can benefit out. Take it from Barbados.
Yes.
Take it from the Virgin Islands.
Take it from
some of
Cayman.
it from the Channel Islands.
Yeah.
Take it from Cayman.
Yes.
We can bring that. We can find a way of doing it. Because we got the people who own their money. They can like it here.
Right.
They can like it here. So,
And in fact, on Saunders, as far as I could remember, in the very recent days, the current government has been going through the process of re-engineering the offshore finance industry and TCI for that same specific purpose, right? Because you remember now, some years ago, we were doing quite well in the area, right? Because what happened is that the industry became over-regulated, and people just started to move. Because when we were doing the reinsurance, we were the biggest reinsurance entity in the region, and probably, you know. But then somehow we allow that niche to fall away from us. So we have to develop another niche for us that can benefit us moving forward. You know, so I think overall we are in a good place as Turks and Caicos Islands and Turks and Caicos Islanders. A lot of our students are now being able to go off.
They're being educated.
To be educated all over the world.
Yes.
All over the world. And a whole host of our programs and professions, they are now being able to
qualify,
right? So we have to create the situation where these bright, young, vibrant persons come back to Turks and Caicos Islands to build the country.
Yes.
Because if you look at it in the last recent few years, we've been having a lot of our young people, because they have the British passport now, going to London and all over the place. Some to get educated, but some are going there with a view of not coming back. Right? And some of them just because of the ease of access and the availability of some of what some people call the freeness, you know, because they can get access to what used to be, the English used to call the dole, and it's easy for them to do it. But you cannot make life, you cannot progress yourself if you're going to lower your sights down to that. Right? Because for me, it doesn't make sense. Yes. And the government has been doing more and more to create that safety net for Turks and Caicos Islanders. Because years ago things were not there, but more and more. And then you have these programs for child care, early education, so that persons, young professionals, can now leave their children with a babysitter, go to work, and feel comfortable that their child is going to get the nutrients, nutrition that it's supposed to get the rest that it's supposed to get, the playtime it's supposed to get, and be able to learn the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, and stuff at that early age, the foundation,
and that they're safe,
and they're safe. Right. So you know what if my child run out in the road?
Right.
You have to have that fear and trepidation that will accompany that. Your children are safe. The work environment is good. You're making a good dollar, and you can come home and, as I say, make page of your own age and develop yourself, develop your children, and help to develop the country. So
a backup to the tourism industry is needed, badly needed. So the government has to spend some time which area we want to develop as a backup for our economy.
It has to. I mean, and nothing takes place without vision, and nothing can happen without money.
Right.
Tourism is a fragile industry.
So, and I think, Honorable Robinson, one of the things that is going to curb that for us is that we have to, our young people have to be assured that there's a place
for them.
For you. Okay? And I think, and so we need to go, again, we need to go back to the policy that we once had, where because we were short on skills and so forth, we had to bring people in. But the policy was, you're here for a period of time, and while you're here,
you train.
You're training, and so that person replaced you at the end of the day. Now that's not happening, right? And then what we're doing is these persons, they come in. Immigration policy says you stay here for a certain length of time, and you can get PRC and so forth. So all of a sudden now you have just as much right to that job as I have. Okay, so that job is no longer my job. That's your job. And so we again, you're talking about these policies and making sure it's following through on it. So when these when our young people go away to school, there's an end goal. Not only we're giving you a scholarship, we're sending you away, we're training you, but there's this place, this slot is waiting for you. Right? So you ain't gotta wonder, and then we can enforce the Bonds Act. Right. Because a lot of time they don't come back. One, because there's no place for them, and then there's no penalty. Okay, and so we have to go back because it ain't that we don't have the right policies and stuff in place. We're not enforcing. We're not policing these policies, and so we're not seeing the maximum effect at the end of the day.
All right, Honorable Saunders and Bishop Kalita, I think we've come to the end of this segment of the program. This What's Up 2.0. We've explored a number of issues that's important to the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and I'm glad that you were able to make it to today. We've had the wisdom and knowledge and understanding of Honorable Saunders, and then the godly component of Bishop William, and all these things go together to make the whole man, because it doesn't make sense, as far as I know and understand, is you just be dragging on one side and not being able to. You must be able to come forward as a whole man. And and I always tell people, I say, look at your hand itself, right? Every finger is different, but every finger serves a purpose.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The hand, the thumb guides the rest of this thing. Only the thumb needs to just touch.
Right.
And it can grip. Yeah, and it controls. It's a controller, right?
Right.
And the ring finger is the weakest finger on the hand, right? But it still serves
a purpose.
right? This is the pointing finger.
It's pointing finger.
That's a dangerous thing, right? But so what I'm saying is that we must ensure that everything that's done in this country is with the benefit of the indigenous Turks and Caicos Islanders
That's correct.
in mind.
Yeah.
And I saw something the other day written by a former colleague that needs a little bit more fleshing out,
Right.
Bishop, and get to the point where we can have for ourselves, however we culture it, however we name it, something akin to what the Native Americans have
Yes.
in the USA.
Yes.
Something akin to what the Arabs have,
Yes.
and Saudis and
Saudi.
they have, right? From Kuwait and the United Arab Republic, Emirates, they have something, a niche for their people. And this
no
nonsense,
apologies.
and this nonsense that we got to make it easy for the Pakistanis, the Indians, and the rest that come to work in those countries, work, make their money because they're highly skilled.
Yes.
Pay well.
Yes.
But they're here for time T, and they have to leave. The next crew comes in.
Yes. Yes.
Right. They don't have status. They don't have tenure. But the indigenous people benefit. They get the fat of the land belongs to them.
Belongs to them.
You can't have a situation where the fat of the land belongs to other people.
No, it can't.
We have to change that paradigm. That's got to be a paradigm shift for us.
Yes.
And I think that over time, we have bent over backwards for everybody. Now going forward from 24, we just had a vision 2040 document that's being out there. Every Turks and Caicos Islander should try and read as much of the document as possible. The time has now come that we don't have to make any apology
No
for
apologies.
putting Turks and Caicos Islanders first.
No apologies.
Remember that used to be the policy some years ago?
Yes.
Everything with TI first.
Yes. No
we have to
apologies.
go back to that.
Yeah, no apologies for that, man.
Go back to that.
Today, right now, Cayman next door. There's everything. There's a line for everybody else, a line for Caymanians, and they make no apologies for it, right? None, and that's where we have to come back.
That's
to.
back to.
I when they treat me like a Caymanian, you can come through.
Yeah, because they know the face, they know the name. So and truth be told, I mean, when we go to the Bahamas, most of us who have been around, we go to the Bahamas now. They say, hey, what about? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you listen. Anybody who don't agree with that really doesn't mean you well. Something wrong. We saw this Brexit the other day, okay, and Brexit was mainly on one thing alone. The British won.
Well, the British made a mistake. They
did, but it was on the premises that they want Britain for themselves, and not all these other countries free flowing coming through, reaping benefit with the health care and all this.
Taking all the walk.
Yeah, and so because at the end of the day, that's what it is. You know, if what use are you saying I'm a Turks Islander if this is not
taking all your benefits?
what good you saying I'm a Bahamian and somebody's taking all your benefit? It doesn't make any sense, you know. And so we got to be unapologetic about it, and make sure that it works for Turks and Caicos work for its people. Okay.
Everything is equal except
That
the benefits of the Turks and Caicos.
Yes.
That's preference for Turks Island.
Yes.
You know, you're going to apologize, like you said. You have to apologize for that.
No,
that's normal. That's expected.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So, as I say, it's good to have been here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
With you two goodly gentlemen, you know, and I think that the listeners in the Turks and Caicos Islands should do well by having the wisdom and understanding that came from you two, from different perspective of life. The coin is the same, it's just one in its head and one in the tail.
That's right.
But it's still spanning the shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for being with us, and we'll see you at the next 2 weeks from now. I don't know who would host the program, but there'll be another program of this WhatsApp 2.0. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
God bless. That's it.